have some fun and learn about instruments. We're going to learn about some instruments today, and we're going to listen to some music. And I wanted to let you know that it is okay if you want to clap and if you want to move and dance and everything. Right in your spot though, okay? Okay? So we're going to get started here. We're going to play a piece of music. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the group after we play, but I want to let you hear the group first. So we're going to play a piece of music that's traditional jazz. Jazz music is an American art form that we gave to the world. You know, it originated here in America. It's an African American art form, and it started here, and we gave it to everybody. So we're going to do a thing called Second Line and show you what it sounds like if you were down in New Orleans. You guys ready? Yeah! All right. Say hey when I say hey, okay? Ready? Here we go. A brass quintet. Does anyone know what quintet means? What does quintet mean? It has to do with how many of us there are. There's 5 of us. There's 5 of us in the brass quintet. And we are members of the brass family. There's a lot of instrument families. There's the string instrument family, like violins and cellos and basses. And then there's the woodwinds, like flutes and clarinets. And then the percussion, where you see the drums and the bass drum. Well, we are members of the brass family because we all have instruments that are made out of brass. And we all have 3 things in common. I want to ask my lovely assistant, Mr. Ransom, to come up here. Yes. So we all have 3 things in common. The brass instruments all have, no matter what the size they all have 3 things in common. The first thing is we have this little thing at the top. And it looks like a little funnel, but it's called a mouthpiece. And that's where we actually make the sound. Can you tell me what sound it makes when to make a big little thing? You want me to show you? Absolutely, show me. That's really funny, right? So how you do that is you put your lips together and you go like this. You go. You try that for me. Try that. You guys sound like a bunch of bees out there. That's great. So what happens is you make that sound into the mouthpiece, and then the mouthpiece goes into the horn, and it makes a sound. Okay, that's the first thing we all have in common. Yes, please. That's absolutely. The second thing that we all have in common is we all have tubing. We have different size tubing, and you're going to hear. All the players up here are going to talk to you about their instrument, but I will tell you something about the tubing to keep in mind. If you see a smaller instrument, that means it has less tubing, and they play high notes. And if you see a larger instrument and they have more tubing, they play low notes, right? So remember that. So you have the different size tubing, and at the end, on the third thing that we have is we have this thing on the end, and it's called a bell. And what that bell does is because it's bell-shaped, but what it does is it amplifies our sound. And you actually have a bell right here. You can make your hands like this, and you can go like this, and you can go, hey! You see my hands? It amplifies it. It makes you louder, right? And that does the same thing for the instruments, right? And that way, then that's what forms a brass instrument. I tell you all that, we are members of the brass family. But inside the brass family, there are many different instruments. And we brought 4 different instruments here today. Now the first one we're going to talk about is the member of what Mr. Ransom and Mr. Bashani and I all play. We are members of the trumpet family.
The best family. Not bad.
So we are going to play a piece of music that is going to feature the 2 trumpets. You might know this one. This is from one of my favorite movies. It's from The Little Mermaid. I know. And this is the song that Sebastian sings. This is Under the Sea. So listen closely, okay? mentioned, we are the trumpet family. So we have brought some members of the trumpet family. And now we're going to talk to you about a member of the trumpet family that's from another country. Mr. Rashani is going to show you, this is the flugelhorn. Did you say flugelhorn? Yeah. So the flugelhorn is from Germany, and it actually means winged horn. And it gets a very different sound. It's the same size as the trumpet, but it's built differently. It's a different, the tubing is a different shape, and it gets a little bit different sound. So I want to ask Mr. Ransom if he'll play something, and I'll have Mr. Brashani answer him so you can hear the difference in the trumpet and the flugelhorn. Yeah, that's the difference between the trumpet and the flugelhorn. So when I ask, you usually hear the flugelhorn in brass band, but you mainly, in America, you mainly hear the flugelhorn in jazz music. So I'll ask Mr. Brashani if he'll play a piece of music, jazz music, by a very, very famous American jazz composer. He's about 3 feet tall and green. His name is Kermit the Frog. And we're going to play, and if you listen closely, you can hear the flugelhorn in this, and Mr. Brashani is going to talk to you about it ain't easy being green. Mr. Ransom to come up here and talk to you about this member of the trumpet family. Well, I mean, don't you need a trumpet to actually talk about this? Oh, there it is. Look at that. Look how small that is. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what trumpet you have right here?
How many of us speak Italian? Anybody? No? Not yet? All right, we're going to have to work on that. Well, I'm going to give you one word in Italian, which means
Girl, that's one word.
or small, which is the piccolo. That's why this is called the piccolo trumpet. It's tiny, it's small. The piccolo trumpet is a replacement for this thing that we had in the Baroque period, which is like hundreds of years ago. And those trumpets back then were like really long, didn't have any valves, and they were really tough to play. So we kind of said, you know what, we're tired of working so hard. So we made this little tiny horn, and we put some valves on it so we could play all of that old Baroque music. And so one thing all you future brides out there might hear is a piece we're going to play for you right now called The Trumpet Volunteer. And it's by Jeremiah Clark, who wrote this in 15-something when I was about 6. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. If you've been married before, you're going to recognize it. If you've not been married yet, memorize this tune. It's coming.
Yeah, I'm married. Guys, I'm married.
So wasn't that fun? Wasn't that interesting? So remember what I told you earlier about the size of the tubing, and if there's a lot of tubing, it plays what kind of notes? Low notes. And if it's less tubing, it plays high notes. Exactly. So that was the trumpet family. So I want to ask Mr. Manley to come up here and talk to you about the next instrument we have, which is considered the most beautiful sounding of all the brass instruments. I'll have him come up here and talk to you about the French horn.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as Mr. Cordell said, this is called a French horn, and it is a very old instrument. It's probably the oldest of all the brass instruments, and all of this tubing, all this plumbing in the middle here didn't used to be here. It just was one big loop. Sometimes you might see at Christmas time on trees or on signs just one big looping piece of metal with this big bell in it. That's what the original French horn was. And we have a unique aspect to our instrument that the other brass don't have, which is that they all point either up or straight ahead, and we actually point behind us, right? So that came from the fact that this instrument was used in hunting. And so people would be on horses, and they would signal to the riders behind them with this horn, and it would sound something like this. And so without any of these valves and all this tubing in the middle, we can only play a certain number of notes, and it would sound something like this. And eventually, someone figured out that if you put your hand in this big bell here, you could actually change the sound with your hand and play some of those middle notes. So we could play the notes that we would have to play with the valves, we could actually play with our hand. That was so this is what's called the modern French horn, and we can play very, very low and very, very high because we have all this metal, and every time we make a different combination of these little buttons here, we change how long or short the horn is. So we're gonna play a piece now that features the French horn from a movie that you might know called Aladdin.
How many of you recognize Jafar's theme from Aladdin? Now, he was the bad guy, right? That was fun. You know, I'm gonna tell you, you guys are clapping. You guys got great time, and you guys are gonna be great musicians. This is fantastic. I love it. So now we're going to bring up the next instrument in the brass family, and I always like to refer to it as the most interesting instrument in the brass family. And I'm going to ask Dr. Hawthorne to come up and talk to you about it.
Hi, everybody. I can't wait to tell you about my favorite instrument. It's always been my favorite instrument because it changes shape. I know, it changes shape. And the reason why it changes shape, it's because of something it doesn't have. It doesn't have valves. Right, the valves are missing, there's no buttons. But instead, in order to change notes, I have to move a part of my instrument so it changes shape like this. And it gets bigger, and it gets smaller, and here's what that sounds like.
That's the Fortnite.
And you can do many of them in a row, and I bet you know this sound. The sound of this instrument is also one of my favorite things. It's somewhere in between a trumpet and one of our other instruments that we're going to talk to you about later, but it can both play high and low.
That's an animal.
Use you, Mr. B. But yes, this instrument is called the trombone. And when you get to middle school, I hope that you play the trombone. It is my ultimate favorite instrument. All right, so we're gonna play one more song for you that's gonna feature my instrument, the trombone. And it is the theme song from a TV show that maybe you've heard of before. You're gonna take a little walk down Sesame Street.
Trombone. Thank you, Dr. Harper. That was fun. You know, I used to play the trombone and I let it slide. All right, so we're coming to the last instrument in the brass family, and we saved the best for last because not only is he the biggest instrument in the brass family, but he is the youngest instrument in the brass family. I want to ask my friend Mr. Johnson to come up here and tell you about the instrument he plays.
Know what this is? It's a tuba. Yeah, remember they were saying some instruments are bigger, they play the low notes. Some instruments are smaller, they play, other notes. But this is the one that will fundamentally balance the band and make it low. Ducky that features this horn. Hope you guys enjoy it, and thanks for coming today.
The tuba. Awesome. Well, you know, you guys are so good. You have such good time when you clap, and I can tell that you're having a good time. So we're going to have a little bit of fun here, okay? We're going to take a little test, okay? Now, this is not your usual test. This is going to be a fun test. But I want to see just how much you listen to music, because music is all around us. It's in everything we do. It's on the radio, it's on television, it's in the movies. You make music in school. So I want to see just how closely that you're listening. So we're going to play some songs, and I want to see if you know the names of them, okay? So I want to give you a clue for the first one. This is from a movie, okay? So listen very closely. Here we go, right? From? That's the theme of who? Whose theme is that? Darth Vader, exactly. Wow, you guys are good. Okay, we're gonna do another one now. This one stays with the movies, and it's really quiet, so you gotta listen really closely, okay? Here we go. Anybody know that one? Listen, you guys are good. So, all right, so you know movies. Okay, all right. So guys, let's go to TV. Let's go to the TV things, okay? So this is a TV theme song. So listen close and see if you can get this one, okay? What was that from? You know, my favorite part is when he plays his nose every now and then. That's funny, right? All right. So we got a couple more for you. So let's go back to the movies, okay? This is kind of obscure. You guys might not know this one. So let's give this one a shot, okay? Here we go. What's that from? You know what? You guys are just too smart. Okay. Well, we were going to do one more. We're going to do one. I'm going to try to trick you guys. Guys, look in the back of the book. Okay. Look in the back of the book. Pull out the stuff we never play. Because these kids are smart, okay? All right? All right. We're going to stump you on this one. All right? Now, once again, this one starts really quiet. So you have to listen. See if you can tell me what this is from. Everyone listen. You showed me that you do pay attention. You know when the music's happening. So the next time when you hear something at the movies, you say, hey, listen to that French horn. You really hear that tuba. Or, hey, I know what that is. That's a piccolo trumpet, or that's a flugelhorn. And you'll know what all these sounds are, right? So I want to tell you that we're very fortunate to be able to bring music to you and to come to your school. As you heard, our friends at the Smith Center sent us out here, but we also have a sponsor that's from our organization, the Jazz Outreach Initiative, and that sponsor is our Board of Directors member, Linda Marvin. So let's give the Smith Center and Did you guys have fun today? How many have seen the movie Aladdin? Right? Okay. So we're going to play a piece of music that the genie sang. Okay? And because we have shared music with you, we think of you as our friends. So we're going to play a piece of music for you called Friend Like Me.
Thank you.
We enjoyed playing with you guys today.